Hello, my name is Tegan Dorsher, and this is my final for Intro to Interpersonal Communications. The main question that I chose to focus on was, how does social media affect face-to-face interpersonal communication skills? Understanding this topic can help me recognize if social media is affecting how I talk to people in real life. It may encourage me to balance online communication with in-person conversations. However, I'd like to have a greater grasp on in-person communication skills as they're more real and personal rather than just through a screen. I chose this topic because I've always been involved with social media, and I think it's very important for myself and others to be informed. Social media is constantly evolving and changing people's lives, including mine. Nowadays, it's become a great source of income, education, and even a place to shop. You can basically do anything from texting, calling, to expressing yourself or selling things. However, there are also some downsides to this new generation of social media. With the growth in social media use, in-person communication has also sadly declined. The University of the People says that even despite allowing us to express ourselves freely and have quick and easy access to texting and calling, it also poses challenges like the spread of misinformation and reduced face-to-face interactions. Social media is designed specifically to be addicting and make you never want to stop, so businesses get more attraction and revenue and kind of hook you in. This ultimately leads to a lower attention span and higher cravings for its usage, and then the cycle just never ends. However, many find it hard to let go of because of these addictions that are created or through the reliance of needing to text their friends who they may have not even known in real life, or any people who aren't even really close to them. This is scientifically how social media traps you in and is designed to do so by luring you with bright colors, quick videos, and spontaneous content. Again, the cycle never ends, or ever will if you continue to let it. A huge reason that social media is so effective in getting these things done or spread out is because it's easy. All you have to do is one simple post and the whole world can see everything rather than waiting hours, even days for newspapers or television broadcasts. Although these reasons make it easier to spread information quickly, it's sometimes spread too quickly and too public. For instance, what if a bystander hears or sees something bad that their friend was doing and decides to post about it? Their life could potentially be altered just by one simple video or picture. Now picture this on a much bigger scale. I'm talking nationwide. What would happen if the government got involved in the exact same situation? War, funding decline, disappearance of trust? These negative possibilities are endless. This was explained more by Bu Zong's book, Social Media Communication Trends and Theories, where he explains, in some countries where anti-government demonstrations erupted and turned into mass protests lasting for months, platforms like Twitter and Facebook became a crucial source of information for protesters and activists. This shows just how easily word can be spread through social media. Communicating to each other in real time and face-to-face is quite literally the foundation of human interaction, as without it we would never fully understand how each other work or the world, because there would simply just be no communication. New Horizons Wellness Services says that in face-to-face conversations, individuals must navigate the complexities of real-time communication, which includes managing their tone, responding to body language, and adjusting their behavior based on immediate feedback. This explains in a deeper way the importance of this in-person communication, because social media creates boundaries and prompts less spontaneous interactions. They use the example of texting someone versus simply talking to them in person. You can always edit a text message before sending it, sometimes even in new technology after, but you can't do that in person. Whatever you say, it can't really be reversed. It's kind of just stuck there. So you have to be careful with what you say. For my experiment, I chose to create a Google Form survey to send to some of my friends, family, and other kids in my grade about their usage of social media and how it possibly affects their communication. The data shown throughout the week was actually rather surprising to me. It turned out that many people are actually different when it comes to how they view social media, which was shocking considering the current state of Gen Z's involvement with social media. My main goal was to see how those around me use social media and to see our similarities and differences within our usage. Out of 20 plus submissions, 90% said they use social media every day, and the rest said that they use it only in their free time. The majority spend 3 to 6 hours a day on social media platforms, mainly being Snapchat for communicating and scrolling. Although these statistics were somewhat predictable, a few questions were surprising to me. When asked if social media makes it easier to communicate with others, only 59% said yes, the other 41% said no or only sometimes. This could be perceived in either a positive or negative way, because it's nice to see that not everyone in this technology-based generation relies on their phones to communicate. However, this could also mean that sometimes communicating strategies online are failing, and that people are relying on these failing ways to communicate, even after they continually keep going wrong. Just under 90% of responses said that they wish social media actually had less control of their lives, at least sometime in their life, which was kind of surprising. But on a good note, about 77% said they communicate in person rather than through social media. Another relief to see was the percent of those who impulsively post online about problems they can't control. Only 8% said yes, and the other 92% said never or rarely. This experiment has proved that social media mostly does more harm than good for communications, because most answers had feelings revolving around it being unhealthy for them or how misunderstanding it can possibly be. Over 80% said they find misunderstandings often or sometimes, showing how hard tone really can be to recreate over a phone. This was proven even further when asked about negative outcomes for social media as a whole. The top responses were reduced face-to-face interactions, a shortened attention span, distractions, or strong misunderstandings. On the other hand, when asked about positive outcomes, it was relieving to see what people had to think. Out of every response coming from just teenagers, they said it makes planning activities easier, helps share memories through pictures and videos, and provides support through texting and calling, like reassurance or appraisal or saying happy birthday or things like that. Overall, I think this experiment was really fun to conduct because I got to create a real life research project that I've never actually really done before. It was partially reassuring to see all the different data because the positive data gave me hope for our generation and the negative data just made me feel more at ease and that I'm not alone. These findings can help me to become a better communicator by seeing what ways other people react to or the perspective they see from, to have a guide for myself so I know who I'm surrounded by and not to guess how my friends and family react. In the future, I'll be more prepared for communicating online and know what I'm getting myself into. I also now have a better grasp on how to approach others online safely and what to expect from them in real life versus just through a screen. Over the past few years, my social media use has gotten a lot more efficient and smart to how I use it, where I now use it partially for business and my school. It has also improved my understanding of the world by surrounding me with what is really happening in real time. I don't abuse it like I used to, and now my relationships are so much better because I now rely on in-person communication so much more. It really makes your life so much better when you stop relying on other people's opinions and stop comparing yourself to strangers who are most likely faking things anyways. I feel like in the future, getting to know more about why people feel more comfortable posting online rather than talking about it in person would be fun. Mostly wondering why we trust to put ourselves out there for strangers, but not even our close friends. This project explored how social media affects face-to-face interpersonal communication, especially among teens and young people. Through my research and literature review, I learned that while social media makes communication faster and more convenient, it can also lead to lots of misunderstandings, shorter attention spans, and reduced in-person reactions. To better understand this, I conducted a survey using a Google form that collected responses from over 20 participants about their social media habits and communication preferences. The results show that most people use social media daily and believe it has both positive and negative effects, such as making it easier to stay connected, but sometimes causing confusion and limiting real-time conversations. These insights will help me become a better communicator by encouraging me to balance online and face-to-face communications, to be more aware of how messages can be misunderstood online, and focus on building stronger, more personal connections with each other in real life. Thank you. Can't wait to see what everyone has to say. Bye.